Hello! I am back again to do the third video of the day. I always seem to get all my videos squeezed in on a Monday when the house is empty. Isaac has gone to the opticians for an eye test, and then they've gone to pick up a wardrobe I bought for Isaac to try and rearrange his room a little bit. So I've got maybe an hour and a bit to do some videos, so that's what I'm doing. So I've recorded 2 tag videos, which hopefully should be up by now, which are the apocalyptic tag by Random Horror, and the alternative tag, which, as far as I'm aware, came from Aisling O'Neill. I saw it viewed via Queenie Todd. So I've done those, and now I'm going to do my usual weekly catch-up with what I've been watching all week. So, this is for the week 30th of July through to the 5th of August, which is yesterday, isn't it? Is this Monday? Yeah, through to Sunday, through to yesterday. So this probably won't be up for a couple of days because it's going to be a video editing nightmare over the next, I'll do all of these plus my weekly vlog that's just gone. So what have I watched the past week? I will kick off. The first one I watched was Central Intelligence. Anyone that knows me and has heard my vlogs knows I really enjoy Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. He's very easy on the eyeball, it has to be said. And it was okay. I liked it. It was a funny, relaxing, just easy to watch film. He's in it with Kevin. Have I written Kevin Hart? I knew the guy. He was really familiar to me, but now I'm looking at his name, I don't recognise it. Yeah, no, it wasn't in the same league as Jumanji or Skyscraper or San Andreas, but I did enjoy it. I thought it was quite good. The next one, The Minus Man. I am holding HorrorFan34 personally responsible for this. He recommended this as being like Silence of the Lambs or Seven. If you like that kind of thing, you'll like this. This is actually quite intriguing. It stars Owen Wilson, who I love, but obviously Owen Wilson is very much known for his comedy. Sheryl Crow's also in this. It's a 1999 movie, and Owen Wilson plays a serial killer. I have to admit I didn't enjoy this movie. I found it very slow, I found it very dull, and I wasn't entirely on board with Owen Wilson in this kind of role. He suits comedy so well, and I think he realises that himself because he's stuck to that. It's a successful formula for him, but this movie he just didn't sit well with me as a serial killer. It wasn't believable. Next one, Inside Out. As I've said before, my son's off school for the summer holidays, trying to watch some suitable things. Inside Out is one of my favourite Pixar Disney movies. I just love it. It's the one about the little girl, Riley, and all the emotions in her head: anger, sadness, joy, disgust. It's just everything, all the little people that are working inside her head to store her memories. And I just think it's a really beautiful film. It works on 2 levels. It works for kids, but it works for adults, and the messages in it too, which most Disney do, to be fair. But yeah, Inside Out, I love it. Next one, Breaking In. This is a home invasion movie. Nothing new here to see. Not done anywhere near as good as, say, the movie Hush is, to me, like top layer for your home invasion. Awesome. There's also a Spanish movie that I watched a few months ago. I think it's called Los Secuestros, which means kidnapped. Could that be the right one? That doesn't sound right. I'll pop it, if it's not Los Secuestros, I will pop in the title somewhere around the screen. It was brutal. If you like your home invasion movies and you're not frightened of things that are a bit full on, that one's awesome. So yeah, I'll recommend that. But this was just really I'm really dizzy in the head then. This one was just, it fell a bit flat for me. I wasn't overly impressed. It was okay. It wasn't an awful film by any stretch of the imagination. It was okay, but I wasn't blown away by it. The next one, this is one I've been meaning to watch for years. It's the Poughkeepsie tapes. Aaron from Screen Stars reviewed this recently on his channel, and I was really intrigued to watch it. It's one that's been on my list for a long time, but I keep forgetting, and I think Drewski McGillicuddy mentions this one quite a bit too, so I finally got round to it. And I really, really enjoyed it. I know Aaron found it a bit heavy going, a bit difficult to watch. And he's totally right in the respect that the actresses' performances in this are so good, are so believable, that it does really feel like you're watching these women go through complete and utter hell. It's not as barbaric as I was expecting. And Aaron was really affected by it, but I have to admit that last week I watched a Serbian film, so I think I'm pretty much desensitized to a lot of stuff right now. I felt this was really believable. I felt it was really raw. I just really liked it, especially the psyche and how the main girl in the movie is affected. It was just so spot on. I don't want to go into any spoiler territory, so I won't discuss any more about it. All I will say is I would have liked it to be about half an hour longer. I think it's only an hour and 20 minutes, possibly an hour and 30. But it could have been half an hour longer as far as I'm concerned, to sort of like spend a bit more time nearing the end with how the movie ended. I'd like that to have been drawn out a bit more, but I would really recommend that if you haven't seen it. Next one, Face of Evil. This is it's a 2016 movie released, I think, last month. This was one given to me by Geek Legion of Doom, a screener to watch to review for his channel, Geek Legion of Doom. Did I just say Geek Legion of Doom twice? That's 3 times. This one was actually okay. It's very hard to review these movies alongside movies like the Poughkeepsie tapes and, you know, movies that are obviously incredibly awesome and have large budgets. This is a small indie, small budget movie. It's got an Italian director. I've forgotten his name. It should be written here. Vito Dinatolo. I actually quite enjoyed this one. It is a movie that sort of breaches 2 genres, horror and psychological thriller, and there's an underlying message within the movie, very much centred around PTSD and of a soldier returning from war in the Middle East, I think. I think it's a very well done concept. It's not in the same league as You Were Never Really Here, the recent one with Jack... Is it Jack Gyllenhaal? No. Is it? Oh, I'm not going to look. The one You Were Never Really Here is proper trippy. Totally like supposed to symbolise the brain of someone going through PTSD. It's very, very powerful. This one isn't in the same league and isn't as... I suppose You Were Never Really Here is a little bit weird, for want of a better word. It doesn't tie together as well as maybe this film does. It doesn't make quite as much sense as this one does. But yeah, I would recommend Face of Evil, but don't watch it expecting to see, you know, like cinema quality movie. I enjoyed it for what it was, but it's not groundbreaking by any stretch of the imagination. But yeah, it's a decent little film, and I really enjoyed the 2 male leads in this. I thought they were both excellent. I should have them written down from a couple of days ago. Scott Baxter and Chad Bishop. I really enjoyed both of them. Next is The Changeling. This is the 1980 movie, not to be confused with the Angelina Jolie movie, which I also love. The Changeling is one that Nick from The Last Shoegazer reviewed quite recently on his channel. And I'm looking at it thinking, why have I not seen this? This is a 1980 movie that everyone knows. Why have I not seen this? So I says, right, I'm going to watch this. And I sat down and watched it. And within the first 10 minutes, I realised I'd seen it probably 4 or 5 times. The thing is, Spooky Astronauts was speaking about this recently. She said she wants a name for movies that you've seen loads of times, but you keep forgetting you've seen it. Deja vu'd? Who knows? And she said movies like this are usually, this is the case because they're pretty meh. This one isn't. I've just got a shocking memory. The Changeling is about as near to a perfect movie as you can get. It's awesome. It has that same quality to me that The Shining does, that Misery does. It's just an awesome movie. It's really well. It's really creepy. You know, they don't need massive special effects, although there are a couple in that are pretty impressive. But they don't need any of that to make this story as creepy as hell it is. And it hits me right where it hurts because supernatural, paranormal stuff is the stuff that scares me more than any subject in the world. That is what scares me, and that's what this is about. It's about a man that is widowed, he's lost his child. That happens right at the start. That's when I realised I'd seen it, when we saw the accident at the start of the movie. It's like, ah, God. So he moves into this big old house to write. He's a musician, a pianist, and the house is haunted. And the whole movie is about the haunting and him trying to get to the bottom of why and him trying to help the spirit, blah, blah, blah. I loved it. I thought it was brilliant. I can't fault it. I can't criticise anything about it. Next one, finally, AntMan and the Wasp. I went to the cinema to see with Isaac, who was fiercely anticipating it. We had to wait ages to see it. It's only just come out last week, so we went to see it on Saturday. I did really enjoy it. I love Paul Rudd, and as I've said before, Ant-Man is my second favourite superhero after Deadpool, due to the sort of humour side of things. I was a bit disappointed by this movie. I wasn't massively, I didn't think it was bad by any means. I enjoyed it. I thought it was good. I just didn't think it was anywhere near as good as the first one. I felt the Wasp as a character was not... She wasn't powerful enough. She wasn't enigmatic enough. I didn't really care. Whereas the girl that was in it with barely no lines, that played the bad guy, I'm sorry I can't remember her name, I haven't looked it up. She had more about her, she had more of a presence than the Wasp. I think casting in that wasn't the best. Michael Douglas was brilliant, Paul Rudd was brilliant. I just wish they'd put someone else in that role. I just don't feel that she did the movie any justice. And unlike Deadpool, where I feel the sequel was better than the original, which is some tough going because they're both awesome, with Ant-Man I felt that the first one was far and away better than the sequel. And I'm maybe on my own in that. Most people seem to be really enjoying it. Aaron from Screen Stars said exactly the same things that I've said. He felt exactly the same way about this one, which is why I like his channel so much, because we agree so much on our viewpoints on movies. Next one, just a little brain dead movie to watch on the sofa on an evening, like Father. I watched this because Kelsey Grammer's in it, and I adore Frasier. I'm a massive fan of Frasier. I loved that series. It's just so sad it's gone, and now the dad's gone. They could never bring it back because it wouldn't work without Marty? Without his dad, it would never work. Kirsten Bell, Kelsey Grammer and Seth Rogen. So I thought, oh, well, that's quite a good cast. We'll give this a shot. The story is Kirsten Bell is ditched at the altar by her husband-to-be because she works too much and she just doesn't give him enough attention. Her father, who has been estranged from her life since she was a child because he worked too much, him and his mother split up. I think he left. Her mother has since passed away. He turns up to her wedding. She gets ditched at the altar, and the movie follows her going on her honeymoon cruise with her dad and them reconnecting. It's okay. It's a nice enough little movie to watch. It's not massively profound. I just enjoy Kelsey Grammer. I like Seth Rogen. I like Kirsten Bell, so I watched it because I like the cast. But it's not... That sort of genre doesn't tend to be my cup of tea unless it's amazing. Like Seeking a Friend for the End of the World is awesome. Similar genre, sort of comedy, romantic sort of thing, but this was just okay. Next, The Tunnel. Another one from Aaron from Screen Stars. You're going to be getting really tired of hearing that. Go subscribe to his channel. You'll hear about all these movies. This is a 2011 movie that my husband is absolutely sure we've seen before. In retrospect, having watched it all again, I think that's quite possible. I love this. I think this is so good. This is an Australian movie. It follows, there's a government cover-up about underground tunnels and the water company or something. Anyway, this Australian news crew go down to try and uncover what's happening. Homeless people are disappearing. And the girl, the reporter, lies to her, like the sound guy, the camera guy, and another guy that's with them, and says that she's been given given permission by her boss, which she hasn't. So they end up having to break in under the ground, and there is something down there. It's a found footage style movie. I know that's not a lot of people's cup of tea. Personally, I love found footage movies if they're good. This one is brilliant. It's one of the best ones I've seen. It's really believable. The acting is amazing from everyone. And what's down there, you do get one particular scene, it's completely dark, but you can still kind of see, and the creature it's the freakiest, creepiest. For me, it was really, really, it was just, what's the word when something really works? Effective. I found it really creepy and scary. Aaron says that certain movies when he watches, I can't remember what the movie it was another found footage movie, Outlands? Oh no, I can't remember the name of it. There was another found footage, my brain's still trying to remember and it's not happening. Outlands. Something lands. Borderlands. He says when he's watching something, if he's getting really tense and if he's really enjoying it, he gets a headache. And he watched Borderlands, and at the end he had a splitting headache because he was getting so damn tense watching it. That's how this made me feel. I didn't end up with a headache, but I did feel really tense while I was watching it, and I was holding my breath, and I was like, you know, I felt myself. I love this. So it's The Tunnel 2011. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's really, really good. And lastly, I watched this last night, and I really don't know what I'm going to say about this. It's not going to go down well anyway. Irreversible. I've had this on my list to watch for a while. It's a French movie. It is, I don't know how old this is now. Monica Bellucci's in it, and Vincent Cassel. I've had this to watch for quite a while, and to be fair, I was trying to get an opportunity to watch it on my own without my husband, because there's just certain movie subjects that I do not like to watch with other people. I know that this movie had a very brutal rape scene in it. That is something I personally for me, it's something I find quite difficult to watch, depending on how it's depicted. I Spit on Your Grave. I've seen most of the revenge rape movies. It's just a subject that I feel quite strongly about. This movie is excellent. It's very, very good. It starts from the end and works back to the beginning, so we know what happens at the end of the movie, right at the start. It's quite trippy-dippy in places, and the camera's turning around all sorts of angles, and you're doing this to see the screen, and it's going upside down, and it's a bit odd in places, but if you tolerate that, and you get past that, the movie itself is excellent, the performances are excellent. Monica Bellucci is just, oh, she's probably one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen. But this is personal. This is nothing to do with the quality of the movie, which I don't for a second. The rape scene. My pet peeve about rape scenes is if I feel that they are being done in a way for the titillation of the audience. I Spit in Your Grave had something which it showed it for the brutal, horrible, heinous, violent act that it is. Which, while it's difficult and hard to watch as a woman, it's real, it's true, that's what happens. This was brutal. It was horrible. The guy, just, I felt loathing for him the whole way through it, and it was depicted as being brutal. But there were certain scenes, particular scenes, where he undoes the back of her dress, and certain scenes seemed to be done so that you could get a view of her boobs and all the rest of it. And during a rape scene, I don't feel that is the right way to portray things. But what disturbs me the most about this scene, and I really don't feel I should be saying this, because I chose to watch a movie I know had that in it, and I know people say, oh, but you shouldn't be watching these sort of movies. It went on for so long, so long. I don't know how long it was, I should have timed it, but I was just, I watched this in bed, and my husband was actually awake while it was on. He was doing something else, and even he looked up a couple of times, and he said, really? Do they really need to show it for that long? And they showed it for what would in reality be the entirety of a rape. And the guy, I think, was taking poppers or something. He was sniffing them. You know, the things that make you last longer. And it just went on for way, way too long. So much longer than was comfortable for me as a viewer, personally. It was horrendous. It was heinous. It was nasty. And I felt really, really, really uncomfortable watching it. And while I felt that it's important to do that, and it's important to show things as they are, for the heinous act that it is, sometimes as a viewer you need the relief of it switching from that scene to something else. Even maybe if it had flashed back. But this is personal, guys. This is no disrespect. This is a really good movie. I find watching that scene, it's probably one of the most difficult things I've ever watched. For me personally, a Serbian film really disturbs me due to the nature of the children in it. But the couple of scenes in a Serbian film that disturbed me were very fast, were very quick, were gone. The whole time that he was doing it, he was like saying all these horrible, nasty, disgusting things. And I think the fact it was in French and it was subtitled and you were reading it almost made it worse that you were reading these words that he was saying to her. Maybe it would have been worse in English to actually hear the words. I don't know. But personally, that scene really upset me, really got to me. Because you can't help but feel that, you know, that's real. This is what happens. You know, they didn't flower it up. They didn't show you a little. Maybe they did, you know, in retrospect I'm talking about it now and I'm thinking maybe they've done the right thing in actually making the viewer see the reality of the situation, which is, that's what it's like. Yeah, I just thought I couldn't mention that movie without mentioning how that scene made me feel, so yeah, I've just put myself in a complete bloody downer now. Right, that is the only movies I've watched this week. I'm trying to... TV. Two main things I've been watching on TV this week. I'm still watching Castle Rock. I've got the 4th episode to watch, which I haven't seen as yet. I think I mentioned this last week. I've seen the first 3 episodes and I love them. They're awesome. I haven't watched the 4th as yet. I've to get to it. Cobra Kai. I don't know why I haven't watched this till now. That's the story about... it's the follow-up to the Karate Kid when they're adults. Ralph Macchio's back. The guy that played the baddie, I forgot, he's back. It's awesome. It's so good. I'd heard from different people it was really good. I don't know why it's taken me this long to get round to watching it. I love the Karate Kid. Absolutely loved it as when I was younger. But this is just awesome. It's just got such a nostalgic feel of the... Even though it's not the 80s, clearly it's not the 80s anymore. The bad guy, the blonde guy... Oh God, why do I never check people's names? The bad guy that trained at Cobra Kai that Ralph Macchio fights in the last scene, where Ralph Macchio gives him that like flamingo kick or whatever it's called in the face. He's in it and he has not changed at all and he's still fixated with the same stuff, and he starts to train a young lad and it's got all the 80s rock music in it, and this young lad doesn't know who Guns N' Roses is, and he's like, I'm going to pretend you haven't said that. So this young lad goes on this like journey online and finds all these like rock songs, and he's like getting into like Rat and stuff like that. So his ringtone comes on his phone and it's Rat, and the other guy's looking at him like, what's that? And he's like, yeah, I went on this really big trip, learned about all these bands, and he like looks really proud that this young lad has discovered all this 80s rock music. But it's just so good, folks. If you like the Karate Kid, if you like 80s movies, check out Cobra Kai. I'm only halfway through. There are 10 episodes. I've only seen 5. But so far, I love it. It's just really, really good. Reading, I'm still reading The Killing Lessons by Saul Black. It's really good. Really enjoying it. It's really keeping my attention. So, yep, I should be finished that hopefully by next week. Probably not. And the last thing I think I'll end on, vlogs that I've been watching. This is going to be different to usual. I am going to Florida next year, as I've probably mentioned 100 times. And there's a channel that I watch called Aw Suze. It's a channel that I got into by watching another channel called Poison Pixie. This is a girl, she's Scottish. She does like beauty stuff, makeup stuff, just general different stuff. She's just a really nice girl, so I enjoy watching her channel. And through her channel I found Aw Sue's channel. Again, it's mostly makeup and beauty and fashion, but she does vlogs of her daily life, and I really enjoy those as well, as I'm a distinctly very nosy person and I like to know what people are up to. Anyway, she's gone to Florida. She's in Florida right now and she's been vlogging each day, and I've been really loving her vlogs, because she's saying things that other vloggers haven't said and telling you things that other vloggers don't tell you, and experiencing things that other vloggers just think that everyone knows about. But if you've never been to Florida or Disney in America, you wouldn't know a lot of things. And she sort of is coming from the point of view of someone that's not seen these things before, and I'm just really enjoying her vlog. So yeah, I have to mention her. I also discovered Aisling O'Neill's vlog via Queenie Todd. Delighted to find out she's alternative, she's Irish. I can't wait to go through and watch loads of her vlogs. She seems like a really nice girl. Looks like we may have a lot in common, so yeah, I know that's probably not linked to the horror community and you guys that watch, but yeah, I know Dave and Kelly are Disney fanatics, and Victoria and Chris from Two Vloggers More are going to Disney next year also, and are also Disney fanatics, so check out Aw Suze. I'll put her link below. She's such a nice girl. She's from Yorkshire as far as I know, and I'm just really enjoying her Disney vlogs and watching her discover everything for the first time. She's just a really nice girl. So yeah, I will leave it there. I will catch you all at a later date. If you haven't subscribed and you're new, which I doubt anybody's watching this far if that's the case, really appreciate any new subscribers. Give me a like, give me a comment. Everything's appreciated, and it's over and out from Lisa Loves.